Hey everyone, Waka here, welcoming you back for some more Draft League content. Today we got week 1 of EDC, and um, week 1 we are against Hugo here, and I just got done with the match and I remembered, oh, maybe I should freaking record before I go back to my dorms. So I'm probably going to be recording a few videos and then uploading a bunch of videos while I'm at my dorm this week, so expect to see a lot of uploads. We're doing week 1 a little bit early, so I probably will upload this a little bit later. But we are against Hugo. He has Tapu Fini, Snorlax, Gliscor, Mega Manectric, Blacephalon, Umbreon, and in the back he had, I think, Regirock, Metagross, Mienshao, Celebi. I think that was it. Um, he might have had another mob. I don't remember what it was. Um, we are here today with Pult, Gapdos, Mandibuzz, Sylveon, Starmie, and Roserade. I'd say my Mandibuzz set is pretty self-explanatory. I think Foul Play, U-Turn, Roost, Defog. Sylveon is Hyper Voice, Mystical Fire, Wish Protect. Zapdos is Scarf, Close Combat, Thunderous Kick, Brave Bird, and U-Turn. Dragapult is Sub-Hex, Will-O-Wisp, and U-Turn. It's kind of a weird set, but it kind of worked. Starmie is, I think, the heat of the week well, the heat of this week at least. Scald, Scald, Psyshock, Recover, and Trick. So basically the play here is like, we'll try to throw Blacephalon off guard with Scarf Starmie, kill it with Scald, and then if he probably goes Umbreon, and then I go into like Sylveon, maybe like forcing the Snorlax or the Fini, and then trick the Snorlax with the Fini, or the Umbreon. Like either of those being Scarf is good for me. And then Roserade is pretty basic with Energy Ball, Shadow Ball, Synthesis, and Toxic Spikes. Even though he has a Fini, I still like the idea of having Toxic Spikes here as like passive damage, especially on like the Snorlax and the Umbreon. And if Fini's not Boots, I'm pretty sure the Toxic Spikes hit Fini too. I might be wrong on that. I'm also max special attack and modest. So I think that's all I have to say about this. I was looking at leads, and I thought maybe he'd just lead Manectric. I believe I led with, I think I led with Dragapult. I could be wrong. No, I led Mandibuzz. I think the reason I led Mandibuzz is in case he led Blacephalon, and I could scare in the Tapu Fini and then get free Toxic Spikes up with Roserade. I think that's why I did that. Because otherwise, if I lead Pult, well, yeah, if I led Pult and he led like Scarf with Cephalon, then I'm already in kind of a bad spot. So yeah, and this is also a very long match, by the way. I kind of made it go on a lot longer than it should have, and I feel bad because it shouldn't have gone on this long. So I scare off the Fini, I get up the T-Spike, which means the Gliscor and the Fini are going to have to defog. And then I scare in the Gliscor with Gapdos, and then I can go Starmie and get like free Scalds off basically. I could also Psyshock too because I'm not that worried about Umbreon at this point. So I figured he's probably more of like a bulky defensive type of Fini, and then so I went Roserade. I decided to click Energy Ball because I wanted the Fini to get shipped, or I wanted whatever coming in to get shipped. Even like Blacephalon taking any damage is nice. Also, my item on Roserade is Patea Berry, or Payapa, whatever the Psychic Berry is. And that was for if he had brought like Metagross. Although after doing calcs, Metagross kind of fucked me over anyways. So I kind of forgot to put Aquaberry on Roserade. I was kind of playing Roserade like it was Aquaberry. Um, so he goes Snorlax. I get a lot of chip off on the Snorlax. And I get the Spit F drop, so that's kind of cool, but I decided to go into Gyarados because Gyarados can take any hit. I was hoping to scare out the Snorlax and bring in Gliscor, but this worked too. I got a little bit lucky with no Paras, and I should have maybe just U-turned here, but I was pretty scared of Blacephalon coming in. Um, well, I guess if it did, I could have just scalded with Starmie. Whatever. Um, Anyways, we get in Starmie, and I decided to click Psyshock because I was like, well, maybe I can force in Snorlax again, and Psyshock did a lot of damage. I don't know why he clicked Ice Beam. I guess he was trying to catch the Roserade. I suppose he was trying to catch Roserade. But I was like, I'll just keep clicking Psyshock. If he starts to click Calm Mind, I'll go with the like Roserade and then back into Starmie. He actually lets his Snorlax almost die because I crit it with Psyshock plus the analytic boost. I don't know why he didn't just go Umbreon because it's clear I'm just going to keep spamming Psyshock. So at this point I'm like, well, maybe I can get in Sylveon. I wasn't really expecting most of his team to be running Toxic, but it was. So I thought that was kind of cool. Like he played around his own Misty Terrain just to quit Toxic. Which I kind of like that, honestly. So at this point, I'm like, well, I'll just Wish Pass into Gyarados, and I'll hope Sylveon can survive a little bit later. So yeah, I get off some hits on the Gliscor, and then he clicks Toxic on Mandibuzz. I was not expecting the Gliscor to also be running Toxic, especially on the Feeny team, but, you know, even with Feeny around, we're both just going to keep clicking Toxic. I should have foul played there and just killed off the Snorlax, but I decided not to. And then at this point, he's like, I'm just going to go Umbreon. I don't know why he doesn't go Blacephalon, but I'm like, well, Umbreon really can't do anything to Roserade, so I'm just going to get up my T-Spikes and then try to chip down the Umbreon, Toxic Stall it a little bit. And then I think at a certain point I reveal Shadow Ball here because I didn't want him to just try to get in Blacephalon for free, because normally Blacephalon should feel the wall Roserade pretty well. So yeah, at this point we're both just spamming moves on each other. So it's kind of funny, but at this point I'm just trying to remove some of his Wish PP and maybe try to get like Spit F drops or something with Shadow Ball and Energy Ball. He actually decides to go Feeny, which is weird because he isn't Wish passing into it. So at this point I'm just like, well, I get a free Energy Ball off on Feeny. And at this point I'm like, well, I don't really need Roserade anymore because he already knows Gliscor takes a bunch of damage. And while it does 1v1 Umbreon a little bit, I figured it's probably safer to just let Roserade go down just so I can get in Mandibuzz safely, especially because Mandibuzz is chipped. Or I can get in Starmie pretty safely and click Scald. But, yeah. He clicks Shadow Ball for whatever reason. I'm not Akka, so I wasn't taking a Flamethrower. If I was Akka, I was winning this interaction 100% of the time, no matter what. And I should have been Akka, because even Akka took a hit from like Specs Flamethrower. I don't know if it took a hit from Specs Overheat, but at my percent, I should have taken a Flamethrower pretty easily. And I OHKO the Blacephalon, which I didn't actually know the calc. I wasn't expecting that calc to work. So he Flamethrowers as I think click sub with Pult. He Volt switches into Umbreon, and the terrain goes away. And I don't know why I did this. God, there's so many plays on both sides that could have been so much better. I decided to Wisp the Umbreon because um, Umbreon was one of the only things keeping Starmie from just spamming Scald, especially because his Snorlax is pretty much dead, his Gliscor doesn't want to take a Scald, and Manectric doesn't want to take an Analytic Scald either. Um, so I think I wished Umbreon because I wanted Starmie to just click Scald and trick the Scarf on the Umbreon. Um, so I let him break my sub on Pult, and then I think I just U-turn out because I'm burned, which is dumb. I know a lot of people were yelling at me about this play. So I decided to trick the Scarf on a Starmie. I didn't think he'd go hard Manectric, because I don't think he wants Manectric taking that much chip. So I tricked the Scarf on Umbreon. Now he's pretty much locked in the foul play, so I figured I could bait in the Gliscor again and then go into Sylveon, maybe wish up on like maybe Roserade or Pult. I think the whole point of this was to try to wish back into Pult. And I don't know why I went Mandibuzz. I mean, I guess Pult was taking whatever. I think at this point, oh, he had already revealed all his moves. Yeah, I don't know what I was really doing here. I could have just went Pult. The main reason this battle went on so long is because I let Pult go under half, and I just couldn't risk. I couldn't really risk Pult this early without trying to Wish Pass into it. And sadly I was a little bit unsuccessful, but we're at this point where Umbreon kind of just has to Wish Stall Starmie the best he can, and he really can't because he's stuck spamming Wish. And I'm also just getting HP back. And at this point, I'm like, well, I clicked Wish. I thought about letting down Sylveon at this point because Sylveon really wasn't doing all that much. I could have maybe went Pult and just let Sylveon go down, because if Pult was healed up, this game would have just been so much easier for me to just go Pult and start clicking buttons, but nah. Definitely misplay on my own end. So I decided to go Gyarados because he's not really touching me all that much, and then I figured I could double U-turn into Starmie again, start clicking Scald. I think at this point he actually decides to go into Manectric. No, he goes into Umbreon. I don't know why, I guess. I get the Analytic Scald off. And I want to get Sylveon back in, try to get Sylveon a little bit healthy. But for whatever reason, I decided to let the Snorlax come in. If I just clicked Hyper Voice, I could have just killed something like so many times, but you know, I am not used to this team yet. But I did get Sylveon kind of healthy again, so I was like, oh, that's kind of a W for me. And Snorlax, I think, has Curse, but at this point he really can't do anything. I think he was Rock Slide on Snorlax to hit Mandibuzz. But as long as Starmie's not paralyzed, I think Starmie has this game like kind of in the bag. And he's also letting Manectric get chipped down. And at this point, I think Starmie is more safe. I just have to get the Snorlax chipped down a little bit, and I guess Umbreon, but I think Umbreon's getting kind of low on Wish PP. How much Wish PP did it have? It had 7. I guess it still had some left in it. But Sylveon also had like 11 left. So he lets the Starmie die, or he lets the Umbreon die, so I'm like, well, at this point, as long as I keep Starmie alive and I keep something alive for the Manectric, I kind of just win. So I let him kill Roserade. Roserade did its damn freaking job. 3 kills. I think it got a T. Well, it's gonna get a T-Spikes kill on Snorlax, I think. It killed the Feeny, it killed the Blacephalon of all things. I was pretty happy with Roserade's performance. Um, so yeah, Roserade's getting, or Snorlax is getting chipped down again. Um, yeah, so he actually lived the move. If I had just clicked Psyshock, I think I would have been fine. I should have clicked Psyshock. Starmie could have gotten a kill, but you know, it's fine. I still need Starmie alive to kill the Gliscor at the end. And I think we're coming down on the last few turns. He lets his Manectric down, which is fine with me. And then I decided to go into Mandibuzz and just kind of slow U-turn into Starmie and click Scald. Mostly because I wanted the differential at this point, and he is spamming U-turn, which is a little bit scary for Starmie because Starmie is not bulky. It does not want to take U-turns even from Gliscor. Yeah. At this point, 2 Scalds just kind of kills him. And I figured I should live a U-turn. I shouldn't have risked it. I should have like recovered. But GG's to Hugo. I could have maybe beat him like 50 turns earlier, but I was definitely trying to play a little bit safer, especially with a team I'm not used to. And like, look at all the chip he got on my team. Ooh, dead Roserade, almost dead Pult, almost dead Sylveon, almost dead Starmie, a pretty healthy Gyarados, and like a pretty worn down Mandibuzz too. But yeah, GG's to Hugo. Next week, I don't know who I face next week, but it's someone. I'll see you guys then.